Always got the balance right. You can see that they're playing with confidence, and the expression side of the game is certainly there, and we need to keep that. There's things we can work on and keep improving. We've been together 3-4 weeks, so we want to keep striving for more. But it's great, the excitement part of the game, and goal mouth action is what we love.
Can I ask you about your goal? Off the shin, but I reckon you meant it.
Yeah, because I think that if you go with your feet, the probability of the ball going very, very high is big, because it's bouncing in front of you. Some people will say that it was not meant, but it was actually meant, because I knew the ball then would have gone straight into the floor, and Vicario there has to move with the ball, so I just tried to go across him to make him not able to jump and get the ball there, and he almost got it.
The red card is the big incident. After this week of all weeks, it's the last thing you needed, your captain needed, the club needed. Do you have an issue to solve with him now?
I just think it's the perfect storm. Of course, it was today. It should happen. It is what it is. I think it's clear that the situation is. You have now seen it through 5 times just to be absolutely clear. It's clearly tried to tackle the ball. The ball just left, and then it's a follow through, and then unfortunately it's a red card.
Michael, 4 wins out of 4. This is going very well. You are the form team in the Premier League right now, the most consecutive wins of any side.
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. The boys are in a good place. I think you can see that spirit-wise, confidence-wise, hungry as well. And it was another good win for us today. It was tricky. It's the first half. I thought we looked dangerous. I thought it was quite open at times, and then getting the first goal was important. Managing the second half is tricky at times against 10 men, but I thought we did that largely pretty well and finished the game off. So yeah, another positive day, and one ticked off, if you like, and we move on to the next.
You're keeping it all very low key, but when you arrived, the talk was, can we get into Europe? Very quickly that turned to Champions League. Now, talking to regulars outside, they're talking about, can we catch City? Can we win the league? Is any of that realistic? But more importantly, how important is it that you've just given that belief back to players and fans?
It's not about what's realistic, it's about what's in front of us, genuinely, and I understand it's gone well to start with, and we got to keep it going. So we'll see where we end up. We are where we are. We've got games to play like everybody else, and we're looking to win as many as we can. So I'm not putting any restrictions on it or looking for a certain place in the league. I'm just looking to be as good as we can be, and in the end that'll sort itself out. But at the moment, things are going well. The boys are in a good place, and they're hungry for more.
You were a Manchester United fan, aren't you? You had a season ticket in between your spells here. You know what it's like to... Have you?
Still got it, yeah.
So you know what it's like for the fans to enjoy themselves. And I guess the question, well, part 2 of that question is, will you be needing that season ticket next season?
I'll need it.
You set that one up.
I'll need it regardless, because there's enough people wanting tickets. So, no, listen, I'm enjoying it. It's a great place to be, and I think for the supporters to be leaving here again, excited and bouncing down the street and coming out of the stadium in a good way is what we. That's what we strive for, and they should get excited and carried away and dream, because that's what supporters, that's what it's all about. So it's up to us inside it to be a little bit more calculated, but for sure that the energy and the noise and everything, that's what this place should be. So it's a privilege for us to be here, and the boys are responding really well, and the connection's great at the moment, and we've got to keep building on it.
What's it like for you nowadays, walking out and your people being around, patting you on the back, seeing the smiles again, the people you sit next to if you've got the season ticket? What does it mean to you personally? Is it a bit more than it would be for, I suppose, someone who doesn't have that connection?
It's difficult for me to say it about someone else. I think it's just, I know what it means to me, and being here and working here and being able to make a difference here is special. There's no getting away from that, and winning games and feeling that atmosphere and the supporters. It can be magical, this place at times, so hopefully there's more.
Thomas Frank mentions it. Let's talk about the red card before we get on to Manchester United's performance and series of performances. Christian Romero, and we heard Guy mention it there to Thomas Frank, posted after the game last week where he had to come up at half-time ill, that it was disgraceful that Spurs only had 11 fit players to select from. Now they have one fewer for the next 4 matches because he got himself sent off. Correctly, in your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Oliver gets it absolutely right. You can't tackle like that in today's game. And he's got to show better leadership, and he's said what he's said in whatever post he's done on Instagram or whatever it was on. But leaders are the ones who perform for the team and makes other players around them better. And now he's going to be missing for 4 games, and Tottenham just do not need that. But absolutely, it was a red card. Danny?
Yeah, Thomas Frank can't be blamed for this today. He's to blame. They were in the game when he was on the pitch, and he's gone off and give the team a mountain to climb. And you know, I'm sure 1 or 2 of the lads at half-time went in and said the piece. Well, I hope they did anyway, because it makes life really difficult.
And as the captain, this record of most red cards in the Premier League since he's made his debut in August 2021, how concerning is that? How worried should Tottenham be about that?
Very concerned.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said it. He's going to have 4 games because it's his 2nd red card this season. So,
and he could have had 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
From Manchester United's point of view, it's another win under Michael Carrick. Nothing changes, except maybe it did a little bit, Danny.
Well, you'd have been forgiven for thinking he'd just put the same team out, same formation, and he didn't. He made a great little tweak, and it worked perfectly. 11v11, United were opening Spurs up and making chances. He played Bruno and Cunha as 2 10s or 2 false 9s, whatever you want to say. He moved them. Bumo's been playing centre-forward out to the left, and Ahmad was on the right. And what it did with 2 intelligent players like these 2, it gave the Tottenham centre-halves a real problem. Do we go in and follow them, or do we drop off? Does the midfield 3, any 2 of the 3 Tottenham players drop in? This is the first minute. Look at the space Bruno's got. He's playing some of the best football of his career, and surely the game plan was to try and stop him getting on the ball. That's an early warning. Here again, one coming to feet in space, the other one, no one picking him up. Of course, as I said, they're talented boys. They are really special footballers. But you have to set a plan to stop the best players. When the ball eventually comes to Bruno here, again, you expect him to score, but how can he be in that much space? And this is the little tweak Carrick made that I thought I was really impressed with. And he's obviously a, really football-thinking man and tries to find different ways. And Cunha again asking for the ball because he knows he's in space. I think it's Paulini trying to get back in there. No communication. And time again, this is all 11v11, by the way. Ahmad's got 2 options here. Look, he can play Bruno is free. Centre-halves are too deep. Midfielders aren't coming back quickly enough. Cunha was free. The goal instigated by Bruno, of course. Little clever move, little clever corner set play, and Bruno fires one into the bottom corner. Now that's against 10, of course. You expected them to go and dominate the second half, but similar things happened. Clever players getting in intelligent positions, linking up together, starting to enjoy themselves, getting lots of the ball. And it's only a great block here, stops Bruno getting another shot off. Cunha had gone off at this point, but Bruno got his goal with a wonderful finish and topped off a brilliant performance, considering actually he had one of his poorer performances last week. I did the game against Fulham, and he wasn't at the moment. He's arguably the best number 10 in Europe. Brilliant.
And because of that, these stats that Michael Carrick is putting on the board don't look like a flash in the pan. Do they look sustainable?
I mean, it'll be hard to keep going with these numbers. These are phenomenal numbers. He'll be much happier seeing those after 10 games, let's say. But he can't have asked for a better start. They're playing good football. The fans are on board. The players look confident and enjoying themselves. Not fun, is it?
It is if you're a Manchester United fan. Now,
I thought it was quite an open game first half at times. I thought we looked dangerous right from the start of the game, which was really pleasing again. Had a few kind of issues that where I thought Tottenham played some really good football first half, so we had to solve a few things. But going a goal up and with 10 men, I thought the second half we managed it really well and largely in control, always wanting the second goal to come along. And when it did, then that put us in a really good position.
Does their opening goal happen if you've got 11 men on the pitch?
No, because that was the area they could explore. No, it can always happen. Of course, you can play 10 against 11, but of course that was the area that then got a little bit more exposed.
Romero's obviously been in the headlines this week. You said that the social media matter was dealt with internally, but a red card now today. Do you feel like you've got a player in that dressing room that feels he's let his teammates down?
Yeah, Christian, I think first and foremost, I think there's no intention to do the follow through and make a red. So I think it clearly goes for the ball. Unfortunately, the way the rules is, it's then a red. Christian said, apologise to his teammates in the dressing room.
Second red card of the season for Christian Romero, 9th in his career, and Thomas Frank just saying there how much it impacted the game. Did you agree?
I think it certainly impacted the game, because when you have to play 60+ minutes with a player less, of course that's going to take its toll away from home against a team that, you know, yes, have had their own problems, but right now are in good form, in a good position on the table. So yeah, it did impact the game, and I think Thomas Frank has been maybe a little generous, potentially, because he's speaking publicly, but it's not the first time Romero's done this, and, you know, it wasn't... None of us know if it was deliberate other than him, but it doesn't look good. And, you know, it's one of those things that's just so frustrating for Tottenham, who are in a difficult position in the table.
Yeah, probably the wrong time for Romero as well, you know, having been in the headlines recently for some of the off-field things. Let's look at the incident and the one that leads to that red card in the 30th minute, Shane.
Yeah, I think the referee, Michael Oliver's right on the spot, Jules, isn't he? And I think he's left with no option. He's got the red card out straight away. You know, he's seen it. He probably feels the noise, the connection. I think he does get the ball, but then it's his follow-through, and you can see here over the top of his ankle. I think Casemiro's really lucky he didn't get a really bad injury. You know, I think it's getting to the stage where he's becoming a bit of a liability, if I'm being brutally honest. You know, he's going to get a 4-game suspension on the back of that now as well. He's the captain, he's the leader. But sometimes you have to lead on the pitch as well by your actions. You know, again, if you look at the first goal today, you know, Thomas Frank mentions had they had 11 players on the pitch, that wouldn't have happened, of course, as well. And away from home at Old Trafford, you know, four wins on the bounce for Michael Carrick and his team. It's really rocking. The last thing you need after 29 minutes is your captain, your main centre-half, to go off with a reckless challenge like that.
It's becoming a bit of a pattern for Romero. You know, all of these incidents we are about to show you are since December, and these are, you know, 3 potential sending offs, one of which he has been sent off. The key match incident panel said that this one should have been a red card. There are 2 incidents you're going to see involving Brentford, or games against Brentford.
Yeah, I mean, a different game, but how that was missed is incredible, because that's terribly dangerous and very intentional. You can't be doing things like that.
Yeah, this kick on Konate was definitely a red card, and that's the other red of the season.
Yeah, and again, that's something that I think, to Shay's point, when you're a captain, you can't do these things. That behaviour isn't something that can be... You know, you can have players that are passionate about the game, but you can't have someone that consistently displays it in a manner in which they find themselves getting sent off and missing games. It's so difficult to contend with that, and he plays in a position where typically, you know, you ask your centre-backs to play 90 minutes. The managers typically change other positions during the game, so to then have to deal with adapting to losing a centre-back, do you bring another one on? Most do. So then you've got to adjust elsewhere. It really disrupts the preparation, and they've not had a good season in terms of the league. And moments like that and things like that really do disrupt the quality and the performances.
Yeah, that last incident we showed you was, according to the key match incident panel, one that he should have been sent off for as well. So of the 3 incidents we showed you, he was sent off against Liverpool. The 2 against Brentford he kind of got away with. As we talked about what Romero's been doing off the field, lots of talk about his social media and the way in which he's been pretty critical. And then to have a leader in such a big game being sent off, it's not looking good for him.
It's not been a good week, has it? Because he started the week by criticising the powers that be at Tottenham Hotspur, and then he finished the week by putting his team, you know, in a mess at Old Trafford and up against it. You know, this guy's a World Cup winner. You know, he's the captain for a reason. He's been there and done it. So some of them sends off that should have been, you know, it's just... You can't afford your Thomas Frank the next time he's available for selection. Well, can I trust him? Can I pick him? Because, you know, we can't go away in the Premier League. Any game in the Premier League away from home is tough. To lose a player by stupidness or whatever you want to call it is not good enough.
And you mentioned any game away is tough. Going to Old Trafford right now on the form that Manchester United are on under Michael Carrick, probably the worst place to do it. And Romero was off the pitch, and United
I
did
love this goal, Jules. I was set play coach at Derby, so I'm just trying to build myself up here to be a set play coach somewhere else. But the brilliant play from Menu to Mbeumo on the edge of the box. There's lots of things that happen for this to come off. One player switches off, it doesn't come off. But what they do have, they've got a player extra at this point as well. But the layoff, you know, from Bruno's pass into him, from Menu, look at the celebration, and Mbeumo just strokes it into the corner. When I say, I think Michael Carrick turned around to Johnny Evans, who's the set play coach now, actually at Man United, so happy when that comes off.
Yeah, he did say post-match that he had been talking about a post-match that obviously this is something that they worked on the training ground, and this is the one that made it 2-0, Rachel.
Yeah, it's a brilliant finish because it's slightly difficult in the fact that it's come past bodies and it just bounces in front of Bruno Fernandes. He does really well to just... It comes off sort of his shin in the end, but he does sort of stun the ball the way he tries to attack it, to just punch it back the way it comes from, and it goes into that bottom corner. And those are the moments, I think, for United earlier on, when they would take the lead, they wouldn't go and get that second goal. And when you get that, there's something about the feeling just now at the moment there. I think where it feels like there's some momentum and there's some good coming to the club that's been long awaited for.
4 wins in a row for Manchester United. I think that guy who's waiting to cut his hair, it might be.
The barber's getting ready.
Yeah, I think he might be booking it in. So victory for Manchester United then.
Very simplistic what he's done. He's turned it around. Because that warrants. Yeah, but does that warrant you to be the next Manchester United?
No, it doesn't. Jason, I'm not saying what he's done. I'm not saying what he's done in 4 games warrants it. What I'm saying is, what if?
Well, Andy, the chances are they will. But is he going to be the man to attract top names, people that are impressed by him, and the club anymore doesn't cut it. It's not Manchester United as we knew it. They're just another club in the Premier League now. Listen, and you've got to have an impact.
I'm not saying
he's not going to have that.
I'm just saying they will have a question to answer when it's done, because I'm sure, Keezy, and correct me both if you think I'm wrong, I'm sure that if he delivers Champions League football and continues to get results the likes of which he's been getting, the punters will want him.
Listen,
the fans will want him to stay.
They will, because they have continued, and I can't think of one good decision the Brains Trust have made since Jim Reaper went in.
I agree.
Let's hope they make the wrong decision. I've always said it's more fun when a football club appoint the wrong man than it is when they get it right.
Yeah.
So do it.
Like you're saying, unless they have someone like a Thomas Tuchel, who else did you say?
Xabi Alonso.
Yeah. You just said Manchester United are like, what did you say they were? Just another.
They are just another club.
They're not. Though.
They are.
They're not. They are Manchester United.
Yeah,
from a commercial. People want to buy them. The Qataris, they've been in for Manchester United.
They're another football team in the Premier League.
The foundations of who they are still there. It is still there. I get what you see. The product on the pitch has not been great, and the way they've tinkered since Sir Alex Ferguson left, you can argue they've never got it right. But the foundations are still there. It's still Manchester United, and I think it still warrants.
A club that's how many billions in debt now in a crumbling edifice of an arena. All kinds of issues going on. The owner's business empire is falling apart.
Jim Ratcliffe's got it sorted, Keezy.
The Jim Reaper,
I don't think that'll last. I think that'll change.
He's got a brilliant stadium in the plans.
If they'd done as they should have done, if they'd sold out to the Qataris, this club would be top of the league now.
Every chance.
Probably chasing Champions
I don't think
League
the Qataris will go away. I think they'll put pressure on Manchester United.
And if they get it over the line, United breaking back into the big time.
That's certainly what will happen. Yeah. But you need a manager to lead from that.
Yeah,
and
then you
Michael
need a big name. It's not Michael Carrick.
He's not Michael Carrick.
His goal's normally vital, to get ahead. But I think it's just encouraging the expression and the attacking play, and not so much the enjoyment where you can do what you want and it's playground kind of flicks and tricks, but more playing with a purpose. But really, the confidence, and listen, the first goal ends up coming from a really well worked corner. So there's different ways to get that goal, but the boys pulled it off really well. Credit to Johnny and Keita who've kind of put that together and worked with the boys over the few days of having an idea. So there's different ways you can break teams down, but fortunately for us today we managed to pull it off. It's difficult to comment in terms of what's changed. I think as I said, I'm pleased with the kind of obviously the buy-in, the connection, and everyone's invested in it. I think that goes a long way. I think tactics and certain times, the game can flow in different ways and you can look very different, good or bad, but I think being in a real good emotional place helps you, and again, that proved to be the case. It was different today. We had to manage the game, control the game, and show patience and good quality. But there's different ways to do it. But certainly, the 4 games that we've had have slightly looked different. But we're not getting carried away. I'm not sitting here thinking we've everything's great. We've cracked it. There's a lot of work to do. So, and I'm fully aware of that.
Cracked it. Chris joins us now live. Chris, good evening to you. I don't want to burst your bubble.
No, he's got his skin into you again.
But I'm going to say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won his first 6 Premier League matches as interim head coach. But I'm going to temper that. Does this feel different with Michael Carrick at the helm?
Yeah, of course. Good afternoon to you both. I think it's definitely different. Carrick's come in and made the team look a lot more consistent, a lot more structured. And literally the players look like they're loving themselves on the pitch at the moment. So really, really happy with the performances and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Do you think that Can Man United get rid of Carrick if he goes and keeps the team playing like they're playing, winning games? Imagine if they finish like even in second place, third place. Can they really get rid of him? I don't see how that's even a conversation.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I know on the previous show I did say that I was looking at Luis Enrique, but I've also said that we may consider Prem-proven managers. And if Carrick continues how he is in the next 14, I believe, games that he's got left, will that be enough to say that he's Prem-proven?
It would.
It has to be.
Why do you need? Why is the saying? They need a big manager. If they've got a manager that's doing the job, why do they need that? I just don't understand.
Go on,
is it
Vicky.
Manchester United?
Tell him.
I'm just asking the question.
No, just tell him. That's exactly it.
I think that he's doing a splendid job at the moment. He understands the club. He's been one of our premier players over the last 20 years, winning loads of trophies. So he understands it, not just from a managerial side, but as a player as well, playing under one of the greatest managers in Manchester, in Sir Alex Ferguson as well. So he carries some of that ethos, he carries some of that culture, and it looks like the players are really reacting to him. So should we? Yeah, I really think he's putting his name in the ring for that.
Obviously, the game today was a great performance. But I mean, the way Man United are now going into games. I remember under Amorim, there was a lot of games, and I think you'll agree, where they come out and they look really lethargic. It's like they're waiting for something. Now when Man United are coming out, they're on the front foot. They're dynamic. They're aggressive. They're playing good football. They're getting chances.
They're holding their positions well.
Yeah,
and you just see it, can't you?
It's perfect. And when we heard what Roy Keane and Gary Neville said about the Man United way, we're seeing it. We're seeing it, and everyone's excited about that. Did you see Bruno's comments, though? He said that when Carrick was manager last time, as he was leaving, he told Michael Carrick, you can be a top manager. And now he's come back and he's proven it. I mean, it's amazing that your players, them kind of players as well, Fernandes, are showing that much belief in him. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant, and it's indicative with the way that we're playing at the moment. And you can see that the players not only believe in Carrick, they believe in the system. They're trying different things. Like Bruno done a beautiful Rabona on the pitch, which really came off with a splendid.
Something.
Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. So I think Carrick's, he's really got everyone behind him, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to the season. I was at Old Trafford for the previous game with my son against Fulham, and I was finally able to show him and go, son, you're 12 years old. This is Manchester United.
Oh, that's nice.
So finally, without all the misery and sending him to school crying, he's actually able to celebrate.
I've got a question for you as well. Do you think, and I need you to be objective here, don't have the biased fans head on. Do you think Bruno Fernandes is one of the best number 10s the Premier League's ever had? As a number 10.
This is an interesting question, because people who know me know that I'm not completely sold on Bruno as an entity in its entirety, just because I come from an era where players held onto the ball and took care of it a little bit more. I get that, you need to kind of take chances and risks. Today I think we saw two halves of Bruno. The first half, he was overheating passes, making a little bit of the wrong decisions, but in the second half, he actually tempered himself, calmed himself down, started doing a bit more interlinking changes and passes, and actually got some GA, and probably should have got another assist at the end, save for Sesko.
But you have to expect that, don't you? Because like when you look at Kevin De Bruyne, for example, no one probably in that Man City side gave the ball away more than him. But he was obviously getting assists, he was scoring goals, he was making the team tick. So I think when you're an attacking midfielder, you got to accept that you're going to give the ball away because you're trying to be creative.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think it was more about the percentage, because he was averaging around the low 70s, low to mid 70s, where people like De Bruyne were doing mid to late 80s and even Paul Scholes, and Carrick himself 90s. So that's kind of the era that
but Carrick didn't get as many assists as Bruno or goals.
Yeah, he's getting more the creative. he played deeper, of course, so he's not naturally going to get as much. As we've seen with Bruno this season, when he was playing deeper, he got less stats off the back of that, but now he's moving forward, he's more involved. So I think to answer your question, I have to admit, and everyone's going to get at me tonight, I can already
Go on,
give my
do it, make me happy.
He's to be considered a great attacking force for Man United. I can't see why he shouldn't be named as one of the better number 10s that has been in the Premier League. So, yeah, guys, come at me. I can already give my
No one's going to come at you. Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I mean, look at this. You've swept aside City, Arsenal, Fulham, and now Spurs. You'd give them the job permanently, wouldn't you?
Bradley's happy, look.
I think let's take every game as it comes. Let's wait till the end of the season. Yes, at the moment, he's the man in the hot seat, and it'd be very harsh for him if we continue this run and he doesn't get the job. But if your Luis Enrique is available, then you'd take that. You know, if you asked an Arsenal fan now if they were in the same position as Manchester United, whether they'd keep a caretaker manager, they wouldn't. You know, and we have to.
Are you asking me?
I am, yeah.
All right, if you're asking me, and I see the Arsenal manager doing what they would be doing like now, I would want to keep him. Because a name doesn't guarantee you anything, does it? Like, if Enrique comes in and doesn't do well, you're going to end up sacking him, then what? You go back to Carrick and say, can you be the manager again?
Yeah, you've got a real strong point. I think, for me, I'm just trying not to get too carried away. I think we've had such a rubbish time over the last 18 months. Oh, boo-hoo, the successful Manchester United having a bad time. But, you know, it's just been... Today was just a great watch. You know, Kobe Mainoo, where he's been, the last 4 games, the passes through the lines, linking of the play. And 2-0 flattered Tottenham today. It really did. That game could have been 5 or 6, and it wouldn't... And that wouldn't have been, enough, really. And bar the Fulham game where we sort of got away with it, we've just played some brilliant football. And look, difficult to say anything other than I'm incredibly happy with Manchester United right now.
Which is great, but I think you should get carried away. This is what I'm saying. This is what football's all about. You can see those players on the pitch right now are playing just with absolute verve and intent. They're holding their lines. They're doing everything right. You know, we were watching it earlier on, weren't we? It was a phenomenal performance. I think you should get carried away with it, and that's what makes me think they should nail Carrick down and say, actually, and then everyone knows where the team stands.
Listen up.
Everyone's confident. Everything's permanent, and on you go. And you get Champions League football and more.
The thing is, though, we've had a few hours to just settle down. You know, I was on the ceiling when you know, if you'd asked me 5 minutes after the game, he's getting a 5-year contract, and I'm driving him to training myself. But you know, you have to settle down a bit. You know, You know, ultimately, I'd take him. I'd take him. Yeah, if he doesn't get the job, I wouldn't be too disappointed. But at the moment, you always want the man in the hot seat to do well. He is doing well.
Bradley, remember when we spoke about a month ago, and I said that I used to really enjoy watching Man United play football, and now I don't. I'm back to enjoying it again. I'm back to seeing the likes of Ahmad, Mbeumo, Cunha, Mainoo, even Casemiro. Casemiro's found a new lease on life. I mean, there's talk that he was leaving. But if I was Man United now, I'd be saying, listen, we'll give you one more year because the way you're playing right now is fantastic. But what I want to ask you is the relationships on the pitch, like you said there, Mainoo and Casemiro, Ahmad, Mbeumo, Cunha, and then the back line, because we're talking about the attacking players. But defensively, the back line and the keeper, they look sound now. Sound.
Well, I think the shape that we play is really, really interesting because without the ball, we're in a 4-4-2. And the defenders really know how to press in that shape. You have Bruno and, either Mbeumo or Cunha as the two up top. And then you see Shaw and you see Dalot coming either central into the midfield if Kobe's gone, or they're out wide pressing the winger. And the real difference between what it was like under Amorim and what it's like now under Carrick, out of possession, we are a different team. You see Mbeumo, he's sprinting for the attempts to get behind the ball, the recoveries to get behind the ball is different class. And in all 4 of the games, we've won more balls back than the opposition team, and if you're continually winning the ball back in the areas of the pitch, we win the ball back. You're going to create problems. Against Arsenal, that was a big problem for you. City, massive problem. The goal against Fulham, massive problem. And today we're winning the ball high up the pitch, and we're pushing on. So it's really good to see. And you can't blame us for getting carried away. We're all shouting, "Can we win the league? Can we win the league?" And then you sort of climb back down.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure you can live in the league though, Bradley. I mean, come on, get real. But I think you can certainly get Champions League football. Yes, it's yours to lose, right?
It is ours to lose. I think the target has to be in the top two. It has to be second in the league now. Yeah,
you almost said top two there, Bradley.
Well, Man City are not consistent. Villa dropped points today. Why can't we go on a run and continue to go on a run and get into second place? Why can't we?
Why can't you indeed?
True.
All right, Bradley, lovely to talk to you as always.
Bradley.
Thanks for joining us.
No comments about the toilet?
No, we didn't tonight, but you brought it up, so there we are. Thanks, Bradley.